money is never enough. But in spite of this, we still see millions of people across the world. You have bad money habits. I want to say this: the ability to build wealth is not accidental, it is an intelligent design. And part of that intelligent design begins with you knowing and doing your income audit analytics. What exactly do I mean by that term, income audit analytics? It is necessary in today's world for you to pause a bit and really do the analytics on your income, do the analytics on your expenditure, do the analytics on your balance sheet, do the analytics on your future plans, and do that analytics on smart investment portfolio. And why exactly am I saying this? Because research is showing, and the research we're doing it across the world, we are seeing that the average person, all right, the single source of income is inadequate to help them to embrace the quality of life that they want. So today we are seeing that that single source of income is definitely a bad money habit. You have to now start thinking about multiple streams of income. In today's program, we're going to give you a deep dive into money habits that are keeping you poor. And we will also be talking to you about money habits that can push you forward to make a massive financial breakthrough in your life. Now, I'm not alone. I have a dynamic team here today that is going to be helping us in this conversation. Now, along with me in studio today, I have Shivani Sinarang. And Shivani Sinarang, she is a project management practitioner and she's woman, all right? And she's a dynamic woman personality. Along with that, we have Paul Whitehouse. And Paul Whitehouse, he is a financial specialist. He is a business finance consultant. And he's the kind of person that you need to know, especially when we're talking about money, because he's the person that will say to you, you are approved, and he will give you the practical steps that you can take to get access to the much needed capital to move and grow your vision. Along with this, we have Frank, and Frank is an economist by profession, but he's also a certified leader. And he will tell you a lot about the economic analysis that you need to consider when you're positioning yourself to build wealth. And he will also talk to you about the leadership, the practical leadership steps that you should own, apply, and master on your pathway to build wealth. Today, we're going to be talking about money habits that are keeping you poor. So I promise you now, stay tuned, stay settled in, because you're going to have a lot of nuggets that you want to take away today. But along with that, I want you to call a friend and tell a friend that we are on. I want you to share this, like, subscribe, and share. So you will be the first to get these content that we are bringing to you on a regular basis. Hi, my friends. Great to have you here today.
Good morning.
Good morning. Great being here.
Good morning. Great to have all of you guys here. Now, I want to begin today's discussion by looking at a concept that we have developed quite a number of years ago. And one of the things that we see is that your pathway to build wealth is never accidental or incidental. It is an intelligent design. But what does that intelligent design look like? And this is what we find many persons are not so much familiar with. Now, we have introduced a concept that we call doing your income audit analytics. Now, every single person, you deserve to do this. Why? Because we're seeing, even in America, the average person, you do not have $400 set aside for emergency savings. That should never be. So today I'm going to be giving you some concepts that I trust in that you can take notes of and ensure that you can apply these concepts to your life. So I'm going to introduce you to five concepts. One is what we call your income analytics. What exactly is your income analytics? And I will look at this one mainly shortly. You want to be able to do your income analytics. Why? Because what we have seen is that your single source of income is inadequate because you have dreams and hopes and aspiration. And in most cases, when we do the analysis, that single source of income is not adequate enough to fulfill that dreams. So it is necessary in today's world for you to start thinking about multiple streams of income. Yes, you might be saying to yourself, but if I do multiple streams of income, it's hard for me to move from one job to another job. Well, you're correct with that. But what about if you start learning new habits? And that is how to not only learn the art of leveraging your time for money, but you can now leverage your skills for money. And let me put it this way: there is active income, which is what you are accustomed to, or earned income, and then there is passive income. What if you are to learn new habits that really helps you to understand passive income cash flow? And passive income cash flow can be so many different things. And my role here is to really help you to detox from habits that are keeping you poor and embrace habits that is going to push you forward financially. Now, let's take, for example, you take the time to study what is affiliate marketing. So you log on to one of the big companies, could be Alibaba, could be, you know, Target, it could be, one of the big companies, and you become an affiliate partner for those companies. And all you do, you get a website and you promote that website into your community. And every time someone purchases from that community, guess what? You are incentivized. You are paid for the purchase that they make. And guess what? All you do, you have a website. Thousands of persons may be going to make a purchase and you're being paid. So I'm saying to you, in today's world, based on the realities of life, you have to start being mentor and coach by experts that can really help you to make better financial decisions and get better habits. I want to go through a couple of things very quickly here. We are seeing that your single source of income is not enough. That's one. So you want to start looking at multiple streams of income. The second part, we're also seeing that your expenditure, and very often when you're expending your income, you are spending on liabilities instead of asset. And I want you to pause a bit and think about this. When last have you taken your income and allocate spending to what we're going to call income producing asset? In most cases, based on the research that we're doing, you're putting your income into liability. And I want you to think about this. What is the last expenditure that you had that is generating income for you instead of just taking income from you? If this is you, I want to tell you that this is a bad money habit. As you expend, in that expenditure, you should have built into it some mechanism that is going to be bringing back capital and income to you. We'll get deeper into that. May not be today, but as time progresses, we're going to go deeper into it. Let me tell you the third money habit. In most cases, what we are also seeing is that from income, you have expenditure. From expenditure, you have balance sheet. And what we see with your balance sheet is that in most cases, when we look at your balance sheet is zero or close to zero. All right. And that again is a reflection of your income habits and your spending habits. All right. Your income habits and your spending habits is a reflection of your balance sheet. All right. And if your balance sheet is zero or close to zero, that's a bad money habit. But let me push one step further here. The reason you want to have a strong balance sheet is because you have future plans. You have future plans. And what are some of the future plans that you have? You want to own your own home. You're entitled to that. You have been working hard. You want to own your own home so you feel secure, for you and your family. You're entitled to this type of security. But when you have a negative bank balance, you cannot focus on the future plan. Again, bad money habit. What are some other future plans that you may have for yourself? You may have early retirement as part of your future plans. Because the reality is this is that what the research is showing again is that the average person, when you finish high school and university, you spend another 49 years in the workforce. 49 years. So by the time you retired, you have that walking stick and you have some aches and pain. Is that only then and only then you can possibly start to enjoy life. But here the reality here. Many person, when you reach that 49 years in the workforce, you still can't retire. When you reach the age of retirement, you still can't retire because you got more expenses than income. Bad money habit. My role is to bring all of this to you right now in front of you so you can start making informed and educated decision as to how you're going to break these bad money habits and put yourself in that position of strength where you have the right habits that is paying you the dividends that you want. So again, if you see in your future plans in front of you and you recognize that you're nowhere close to attaining them, put it down to bad money habits. And if you know that you have these bad money habits, my advice is get a mentor, get a coach, get a supportive community, get a sponsor that can help you navigate these realities so you're set up for success. The last point I want to make here. So you're earning, you're spending, you're supposed to have a positive bank balance, you're supposed to have future plans. Let's look at the last thing here. Are you thinking about smart investment portfolio? I believe that every single citizen on planet Earth, you should be thinking, and beyond thinking, you should have a smart investment portfolio. Because the reality is, for the majority of people, for 99.9% of the global population, your single source of income is inadequate. And what's going to augment and supplement and complement your single source of income is when you start thinking of smart investment portfolios. And smart investment portfolio can mean a whole lot of things. It could mean invested in real estate. It could mean invested in stocks and bonds and mutual funds. It could be invested in businesses. It could be invested in yourself, enhancing your knowledge, your skill set, and leveraging your skill set to acquire more income. So I'm saying to you that there's a tremendous amount of possibilities that exist out there. And today, me and my team will be talking to you about some of the negative habits, how you need to replace those negative habits with good habits, and how to position yourself to win. What I'm going to do now, I want to start with Paul, as usual, to talk to us a little bit about capital. Because at the end of the day, we are still appealing to businesses, and businesses have a major challenge to access capital. But the big question I want you to ask yourself as a business owner who wants capital is, do you have the right habits when you want to access capital? And I'm going to ask Paul to talk to us a little bit about money and perhaps about some of those habits that they should have when they want to access capital. All to you, Paul.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Well, let me think where to start. Good habits to access capital. If you have not had those habits and you need to access capital, it's available. So rest at ease there for a moment. Um, if you can pay for a capital raise, because capital, if you have an excellent idea and an excellent business concept and you need to raise capital, rest assured the money's there. You just have to find a creative way to go get it. But what if everything was right from the beginning? How much easier would it be? The right habits, keep a good credit score. It's hard, it's easy to fall. It's America, it's the world. It's easy to fall and have things happen to you. Things happen. There's no way around that. And that's understandable, I guess. But if it happens, try to correct it ASAP. It's extremely important to keep a good credit score. It makes your life so much easier. And I can tell you from experience, I'm not ashamed to admit it. I've been up, I've been down. When you go into business and you take risks, sometimes things happen and sometimes you don't make the money right away, or you don't make it at all because, you chose the wrong thing to do. But that's okay, because that's a mistake, and mistakes give you information and knowledge for the future. But very important habit, obviously, keep a good credit score, because that makes financing available all the time. If you got a great credit score, you're approved when you walk in there. Okay. Again, if something's happened, fear not. Access is still to credit is still available. It's just going to cost money down, and that's the problem. That's the headache right there. I mean, I've said this several times, but every dollar that you save and every dollar that we at Patriot Business Finance Consultants can help you save when we arrange capital for you goes directly to your bottom line. Imagine paying an extra $50,000 a year in interest charges that you didn't have to pay. So that's the benefit of making sure that you get like locked up, straight, squared away, and lined up perfectly. If you're not there right now, get there, because it can be repaired. It's just like a car. You can repair your credit, you can repair your business, and you can repair your life. Everything that you need to do is possible. You just got to do it. I think I went off on a little bit on the left on the life thing, but yeah, that's my first comment, Gary.
All right. Thanks for that share, Paul. So one of the first thing I took away from Paul is that one of the habits that you need to learn, apply, and master is to ensure that you're keeping tabs on your credit score. And I just want to add just a little bit to that in terms of money habits. You see, it's okay to, if you don't have a business, to leverage your FICO score, which is personal credit score, to do things in terms of money. But in a business, you want to quickly move over to have a PAYDEX score, because the PAYDEX score is what is more vital to you. It's what's going to give you the competitive edge in doing what you do. All right. So I just want to add that little bit to what Paul would have said. Now, I want to come across to Frank, and then I'm going to come over to Shivadi. Frank, there are many habits that people have that is keeping them poor. As a leader, as an economist, would you care to shine some light on some of those habits that you would have seen?
Yeah. I've seen people squandered poorly on frivolous things. We get involved in shopping online now, which is easy, and we see things that attract us and we decide to spend. Have you ever wondered where all your money went to? Sometimes you ponder why there's no money in your bank account at the end of each month. Sometimes you find yourself frequently thinking about the invisible holes through which your funds seem to vanish. We have a local parlance in Ghana that says, I get salary, I got wages by the fund. So as soon as I get it, it just blow. So if you find yourself in that kind of problem, then you have landed at the right place. And we can tell you exactly reasons why you are unable to amass money despite you earn a decent income. Here are some habits that can sneak into your hard-earned income and eat up your funds. You spend them more as your income increases. Spending more as your income increases. Now, there's no harm in raising your standard of life, your standard of living when you can. However, if you are the person who is constantly looking for ways to spend your money, you'll probably find yourself in a difficult situation very soon. And if you continuously raise your expenditure along with any increase in your income, or even without it, it will be hard to have any real savings. So what you need to do is try to keep your expenditures at a constant level along with exploring ways to increase your income. And that's a route to success. You need to focus on the present without caring about the future. Usually, when people find it hard to tackle a problem, they just choose to ignore it. And that's a sure recipe for disaster. The same is the case with your finances. And as generally, people focus on what the present need is and wishfully thinking that future needs will somehow be met in some way. So you need to take the future into perspective whenever you're making any financial decision. Although it is good to take care of everything in the present, do your best to save for your future. Sometimes you think it's too early to start saving. When you're young, it's easy to get carried away by the various pleasures money can buy. And people often think that right now it's too early to start saving or investing. Wrong. It is never too early to save a portion of your income, no matter how low or high your income is. If you start saving today, in fact, experts say that you should save before you spend. Keep aside a portion of whatever money or income you get and then spend the rest. I remember the days when I was young. I used to be a police officer. And by the time we got paid, it wouldn't be a week after. There's no money, there's no savings. Well, we had the option at that time to take advance on salary, and as any young person, you just spend. The thing about it is that most of us still live with our parents when we were working, so a lot of us had the fallback of parents' assistance. And for those who did not, lived in the police barracks. So you didn't have to pay rent, and the police fed you. And so you make sure that you get the best gear, the best clothing, whatever. So by the end of the week, all that money is gone. There's no savings. And then one day I had to come to the decision, you know what? There's something else that has to be done. Fortunately for me, we had insurance agents who would come around and insure you for life. And so you had that as a savings. And then you had a system where in those days there were no card system. You had to go directly to the bank. If the bank is closed on weekend, there's no way you're spending. So me personally had to open what's called a fixed account that I could not touch for 6 months. And that's what helped me to save. Another fall short that we do, something that we are accustomed doing, is not keeping a record of money. And we think that we know where our money comes from and where it ends. But sadly, it's not true for most of us. We might be aware of our major expenditures, But the small things usually eat up our finances more than the big ones. So it's an excellent idea to start keeping a journal for all your income and expenses, whether they are huge or small. And in this way, you will have a better idea for controlling your finances. There is also the lack of budgeting. And we can't stress this enough. We don't budget um, enough of what, um, or you could say poor budgeting. So you may be documenting everything. Then again, missing the starting point, which is a budget. Having a realistic and well documented budget is a foundation of all your financial planning and success. If you make a budget and you stick to that budget, and you can say, from my own experience, it makes a huge difference in how you look at your money. When there's no budget, it is very easy to get carried away and commit unnecessary expenditures. Being unclear of your needs versus your wants and finances is another no. In order to save money, in order to build wealth, it is of the most or the utmost importance that you absolutely care about the must haves, the good to haves, and not to haves. You need to prioritize your financial targets. If getting rich is a top priority for you, then you need to sacrifice some of your present pleasures, whether you like it or not. Be clear about your goals, write them down, review them at regular intervals to keep yourself on track. Another thing is that we ignored our debt. For a lot of people in today's world, interest eats up a huge portion of their finances. It's a painful fact, but still they don't know how to get out of this vicious cycle, leaving them with little or no savings. First of all, you need to make paying your debt a top the list item on your agenda. Work out a plan for this and stick to it no matter what. You don't want to believe that you're poor, do you? None of us want to. Um, Another thing, which was my problem, is constantly upgrading your electronic gadgets. There is no limit to it. By the time you turn, there is a new form of electronic gadget. And though you may have one, we have a tendency to want the latest. There's no harm in buying gadgets that you actually need. Buying only because there is this next version of mobile available market will definitely cause you more harm than good. So you need to take charge of your life today. Do what needs to be done right now. You can do it. Do yourself a favor and start your journey of becoming wealthy today. The famous actor William Shatner said, if saving money is wrong, I don't want to be right.
Right, right. Thanks for that share. Start your wealth building journey today. All right, start your wealth building journey today. There's a lot that I'm going to be going into just now, just to help the public to understand how to begin doing the income audit analytics. But just before I get to that, I want to ask Shivani to chime in a little bit and talk to us about how she sees project management as an expert in this field. What significant role do you think it can play in helping people to build better habits around money? Shivani.
Thanks, Gary. So, as a project manager, I want to throw out this concept: multi hat challenge. Multi hat challenge. We have to wear many hats as a project manager. Some of us, depending on the project that you're running, you may have many resources that you can lead to get the project from beginning, and run it as success. But sometimes it's you and you alone. And what do? So I want to throw out the concept of multi-hat challenge, meaning it's a challenge, right? You have to wear many hats in order to get the job done. Now, if this is what type of habits, new habits that you need to have in order to move away from or to earn extra income, project management definitely can help you. And as you talk about multi hats, the multi hats, what are some, of the main hats that you should wear, and understanding when to wear it and when to take it off, when you need to get X, when you need to get Y. So one of the hats that you should definitely wear as a PM in this situation is communication, right? How do you communicate? And communication, you may have to speak to different persons in order to acquire a loan. You have to speak to Frank, you have to speak to yourself. Um, you have to, and Paul, to acquire wealth, to know how to attain extra income, you know. So you need to be able to communicate. Communication is one of the key points, the hats that I'll say that the project manager must be able to wear and must be able to do it well. Know when to listen. Of course, this is all part of communication. Know when to listen. Know when to agree, not agree, disagree. So you have different hats that you have to wear in order to understand how to attain different wealth then. So one of the hats definitely is communication. I'll say another hat that you need to wear at different points would be stakeholder management, which is part of projects as well. Do you understand the different stakeholders that you have to communicate with? You may have to use different strategies to do it. And another hat would definitely be creativity. You have to be creative. How do you understand creativity? Are you going to be saving some of your income in order to grow this income larger? How are you going to do it? So creativity is another hat, and project management, we do that quite a lot. You have to be creative in order to get the job done and in order to acquire more, and probably also sustainability. So hats, the multi-hat challenge is something that we have to consider, we have to look at. Frank also mentioned a lot about planning as well. You need to plan your goals. And the hat that I will talk about, so it's a planning hat, planning, for projects in this case. But I want to throw the concept as well of agile in project management. When we plan to acquire wealth, we have to look at it from an agile way, because you're not taking 1 year or 3 years in order to attain all of this new income or this new wealth. You will try to do it agile, which is the agile concept is breaking it down into increments. So every 2 to 4 weeks, what do we want to do? What do we need to achieve? And I know your income analytics talk will come in here as well. So if you are planning this in increments in order to attain money, every 2 to 4 weeks, you plan in, what do I need to do? Why, when do I need it? And you try to attain the wealth like that. So you could use money, attaining income, attaining wealth through agile project management, which is every 2 to 4 weeks. You plan and you execute something, and then you could roll into the next 2 to 4 weeks. So project management definitely can, guide us in how to attain wealth, in how to grow yourself as an individual. And the concept really is wearing multi hats and knowing when to wear the correct hat, because sometimes you're wearing the wrong hat and definitely going to get the wrong result. So, key takeaways then for this part of the conversation as a project manager in wearing different hats really will be communication is very, very important. Stakeholder management will be extremely important. Being creative, that's another hat that you have to know when to wear. And of course, we could do a lot more deep dive into the creative concept. And you also would have to understand agile in how you plan to attain wealth and how you can execute it. So you're not using the traditional waterfall way of management of projects in attaining wealth. I see the agile way in project management to really work here. So thanks, Gary. Multi hats. You're good at that. Wearing many hats, I'm sure. I know.
All right, Giovanni. I've taken away a lot from what you said. And let me just try to add a little bit to what you would have said. Project management is vital for the success of business and life. And what I've taken away from what Shivani said is that you have an income project, and that income project is a project, and that project has should be subjected to project management tools and processes. And the absence of project management tools influencing the project outcome, that too can be perceived as a bad money habit. Because what project management does, it gives you the ability to see the beginning of the project. It gives you the ability to see the center of the project, and it gives you the ability to see the end of the project. And it is this ability also gives you the tools to navigate a project, because whatever project that you're going to be implementing to cash flow, it could be a business, it could be a barbecue, it could be, an online operation. Things do go wrong with projects or a business plan. But what project management does is provide you with a tool to ensure that the project is on track, the project is on time, the project is within budget, the project is maintaining its integrity, and all of those factors. So the role that Shivani will play in helping you to not only design your project but implement the project is priceless. All right. And if you don't have a project manager on your team that is helping you to assess the or predetermine the costs, predetermine human resources, and effectively manage the project outcome, that can be a bad money habit, because you could be spending money unnecessarily. And Shivani will be an expert to talk to you on that. I want to come a little bit more on the income analytics. One of the things that we have seen is that the average person today, you're not doing your income analytics. All right, you are not doing your income analytics. And this comes back to something that Frank would have spoken about earlier on, budgeting. What I want to talk about is not just budgeting, is what I'm going to call lifestyle budgeting. And why am I going to talk about lifestyle budgeting? Because of the fact that we have seen that we have people that are having average income, but then they want to floss like if they're the rich and the famous. And that's a lifestyle budget dilemma. So let me go a little bit into this to bring some clarity. One of the things that we have looked at, the average person that are working, living in America, have a small family. Some of the expenses that you have are as follow. But your income, the average income is about $3,000 per month. So let's look at this. Expenditure, rent, $2,000. And that's keeping it low. All right. For you and your family, you're renting a house, $2,000. You also have living expenses. You, spouse, and let us say a kid or two, you got $500 living expenses. You also want some recreation. You're going to, perhaps once a month, twice a month, you're going to take the family out. You're going to sit down at some place. You're going to have some, meal, have some fun, $200. You have insurance to pay for, $100. You have your telephones. Let's allocate $100 to telephone. You have a kid or two at school. You have to, allocate money to them. Let's put it as $200. You have a car loan. All right. Let's put it as $300. This is how we go about doing the analytics. Now, this is not a fix. There are things that we can add. There's things that we may be able to take away from here. But what we have seen here is that the total cost that I've just listed here reflects $3,400. It's $400 above your monthly income. But guess what? Because millions of Americans and perhaps other people across the world, you have access to the credit card. So the credit card now comes in and supplements the deficiency in income. And the credit card now becomes a lifeline, but this is a lifeline that is sinking you because you do not fully understand how credit card works. I'm not going to get into it today, but I'm just saying to you that this is the reality based on research. You see, you want to do your income audit analytics because what the income analytics does for you very early, it helps you to assess the lifestyle that you want, and it helps you to measure your income against that lifestyle. And when you recognize that the income is below the quality of life that you want, it forces you to start thinking of practical steps that you can take to increase your income source. And there are a number of things that you can do. You can invest in your skill set, learn a new skill that's going to help you to get perhaps a higher paying job. Perhaps you can also learn a skill set that will allow you to do some work after the regular work. Perhaps you can learn a skill of becoming a sales communication professional, where you're working with businesses after work and helping them to build up that know, like, and trust, helping them to build up their, digital marketing content. Perhaps you might even want to learn how to become a BFC, a business finance consultant. So when you finish your regular work or during your lunch break, you are using your knowledge as a BFC to connect with rising stars in business, to connect with business leaders, and you have another source of income. Now, I'm saying this because we have seen so many Americans, so many people across the world, they have done these things. And what we have seen is that their secondary sources of income ended up being more than their primary sources of income. And that's a hack. And that's what the income analytics helps you to do. So what I've done here is just the first part of the income analytics. It tells you the income that it tells you, first of all, the lifestyle that you want, the quality of lifestyle that you want for you and your family. It tells you the income requirement that you need to embrace that quality of life. It shows you the strengths or deficiencies in your income. And then it forces you now, if you have deficiency, to start thinking of creative approaches to ensure that your income is not deficient, but it is more than adequate to help you to experience the quality of life that you want to live. And that's the importance of doing the income audits. The research that we are doing, when we ask the average person, have you ever done your income audit? What is that? They don't even know what's the income audit. And that's a bad money habit. It means that you're just earning. You're set by default to earn and spend. And that's not how you build wealth. And our belief here is that every person has a great chance to build wealth. All right? Everyone has a great chance to build wealth. You might want to say, I'm poor and I can't build wealth. I'm going to give you a hack here and then I'm going to pass over to Paul. I want you to think, many years as a young person growing up, I had some Chinese friends. And in their household, they got like 10 family members living in that household. And now I'm like, that's a very big family. But guess what I start to recognize a few years later? They had a money hack. They had a great money habit that the world can learn from. So you had 10 persons that were living in one house. Guess what? 10 persons paying one rent, not 10 rent. So the monies that they should have been allocated, the other 9 should have been allocated to 9 other rents. It was being saved and compounded. And after a period of time, guess what I start to see? Because they now have compounded savings. They start to branch out. Another family member went to another location to open a restaurant. They continue to support each other. Another family member went to another location, opened another restaurant. And that process didn't stop until each one of them had their own business that was bringing in income for them. And then some of them that I was in contact with, they themselves start to accommodate other family members, perhaps friends, and give them an opportunity to rise. Shabani talked about communication. That's what I call effective communication. That's networking at its best. And these are good money habits. Sometimes you just don't see it. Sometimes when you hear about money habits, you're just thinking money. But the personality behind the money is something that you need to understand. These hacks behind, how money is being created, you need to understand it. So I just want to pause here for a little bit, because your money habit that is holding you back, it might be you saying, I'm a big man and I'm a big woman and I want to be on my own. No, 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 no. Stay with mom, stay with dad for as long as you can. When you're moving from mom and dad, make sure that you have saved up enough that you can go into your own property. Better yet, if that property is an income producing asset. Better yet, if that property is a multiple income producing asset, because you don't have to go through the struggle perhaps that your parents would have gone through. And this is my genuine belief that as parents, as leader, if you have gone through the struggle, you owe it to your offspring to ensure that they never experience it. That's what great leaders do. All right, so I'm going to pause here for now and come to Paul and ask Paul to talk to us a bit about some of the financial instruments that you have. So persons in business, they can now start building the right money habit. Can you talk to us about the pre-qualifications to perhaps accessing real estate financing or pre-qualification? Go ahead, Paul, all to you.
Yeah, thank you, Gary. Well, let's take two sides to the subject. Okay, good to excellent personal credit and business credit obviously equals the best term and the lowest cost of money and the easiest approval. But if you have a difficult credit score, then you can still get approved. It's simply, as I said earlier, just going to be much more money down and much more documentation. If let's say you want to move fast, you are a landlord or you want to be a landlord, and there's something called DSCR loans, debt service credit ratio. You don't have to you don't have to provide an arm and a leg. You don't have to provide your taxes. You don't have to provide bank statements if you don't want to. That makes the process move quickly. So that kind of becomes a good advantage for you if you're trying to move quickly. If you need to close on a property like immediately instead of waiting 3 to 4 weeks. But pre-qualifications, to be honest, Gary, I'm trying to make this sound complicated. There are none. Good credit score, bad credit score. If you got a good credit score, you're going to put less money down. Anybody who buys an investment property is putting a minimum of 20% down. If you're buying a $100,000 house, that's $20,000. If you're buying a $1 million house, that's $200,000. So truly, the requirements are a good to excellent credit score and money down. Other end of the scale, if you have a difficult credit score, again, don't worry, you can be approved. But what are the prerequisites to get approved? Money down and a plan. Your property has to be in, what they call a performing asset. It cannot be sitting vacant. So having a performing asset is another prerequisite to getting financed. Man, I'd like to talk longer and make this more complicated, but it's not complicated. It's that simple.
All right, thanks for that share, Paul. What I want to add to what Paul would have said, because I really want this to hit home to our listeners. We're talking here about money habits that are holding you back. Here we have Paul that you have access to, because he's the kind of person that's going to get you approved for real estate funding. All right. But let me put this to you. An essential money habit for you to have is for you to start thinking, how can I create wealth for myself? If you're not thinking this way, it's a bad money habit. And and I want you to ask yourself, you're working, you are still with mom and dad. Fortunately, kudos to you. Because you're with mom and dad, you can save more. So let us suppose that you're working for, you know, $3,000 a month. You allocate $1,000 to mom and dad to run the house. You keep $2,000 for yourself. Guess what happens? Guess what happens? In 1 year, you're actually able to accumulate about $24,000. But let us suppose that you see a house on the block for $100,000. Immediately, you have your 20% down in 1 year. And I'm saying that to you, this is an excellent money habits for you to now start embracing. As I said before, wealth creation is not accidental. It has to be intentional. It's an intelligent design. That means you need to understand it. You have so much of access available to you. Right now, you have Paul that you could access capital from. But are you taking advantage of that access? You're not taking advantage of the access because perhaps you don't have the right money habit. Our role is to show you some of those hacks. You need to start saving $2,000 a month. You need to start looking for investment property, perhaps at $100,000. In 1 year, you have your 20% to put down on that property. You own that property. You can start to cash flow that property. You can do force appreciation into that property. You can take out the equity from that property. You can leverage it into other income producing assets. You can start your wealth building journey. So when I say it's an intelligent design, all that I'm saying to you here, it's possible. But if you don't understand it, if you don't know it, if you don't have a mentor, a coach, a supportive community, a sponsor that is helping you to see these money hacks, guess what? You're going to have access to Paul. Paul is going to give you all the money, but then you're not ready for it. You're not fundable because you're not thinking along that line. You're not thinking along the line of wealth. It's not accidental. It's intentional. It's an intelligent design. And my advice, you want to get the right team on your side. Paul, you want to say something?
Yeah. You can always tell by my facial expressions when I want to say something.
I know that.
All the time.
Stakeholder management. Stakeholder management. He's doing it well.
Well, it's something that you said and something that you and Frank, it just snapped into my mind. Okay. Yeah. Habits, money habits, a habit of saving. You said $1,000 a month, mom and dad save 2,000. Okay. That's the right habit. Yes. Take it one step further. I'm not going to say go chase more money, but go secure more money. Go get it. What do you mean go get it? Go get it. Go get it. How do you do that? Start flipping stuff. Buy a motorcycle. People buy motorcycles. They want them. So buy one cheap, go negotiate, get a steal, buy it, and flip it. Make $1,000. Go flip a car. Go work a second job. Okay. Let me walk that back. Don't go work a second job. You're already working one job. You won't get ahead working a second job for hourly. You'll get ahead a little bit, this much at a time, but go flip things or go sell something tonight. Find a way to grow that chunk of money. You can do it by selling things. You can go by learning another skill, being a salesman at night, or just opening a business as quick as you can. Instead of all that stuff, go get super creative and go buy a pizza shop for $1,000 down. I did that when I was young, not young, middle 20s, kind of young, but go do something crazy. I wish I would have done those things in my late teens, early 20s. literally go do something crazy. You're working a job right now. You're paying mom and dad that 1,000. You're saving $2,000. Well, grab a couple $1,000 out of your savings. Approach, because if you approach 10 or 20 sellers of something and ask them for owner financing, they're going to do it for you. The numbers, the odds are with you. So you can actually do that and start bringing in a lot of money immediately. There's so many wild things that you can do if you get really creative.
Well, that's a good point, Paul. I see a lot of persons who have a lot of gift that they have been given that is storing up in the garage, and what they did is just call a garage sale, and they make some monies on those things. They put that money into a nice savings account, and they leverage that later down. So there's so much. The last thing that people can do, Paul, is to think that there's no way out. There's always a way out. You may not know, but the reason that we are here is because we have a highly intelligent community that wants to help you. And we have dynamic skill sets here. You have a project management specialist, you have a business finance consultant, you have an economist and leader, you have a business analyst here. You have all that you need to help you to make an informed business decision, an informed money making decision. I want to come now to Frank to ask Frank to shine. So at the end, just get your closing remarks. Time flies so fast when we are having fun. Frank, on to you, my brother.
Yeah, that is so true.
Mhm.
We all know that money is generally considered a symbol of power and attractiveness. You might care how a man ugly once he got money, it somehow become handsome. And that's why we all want money. But where we differ,
Paul, we got to laugh about this. So I got to ask him if his money got me, got a relationship intact. The guy might be ugly, right? According to Frank. When Frank want to tell you ugly, you got funny ways in which he's saying, The audience forgive us. We're funny, right?
there's no ugly person in this group. Not
Oh,
one
thank
of
you.
no, not the ugly person. Yeah.
All
So
right, my friend.
I was saying that we all want money, but where we differ is how far we're willing to go to get it. I want to share accessible and applicable money habits. And I'm using different relatable and not so relatable personalities. So, for money makers, the goal isn't just money, but a product you offer that inspire you. And I'll use Elon Musk. He once shared in a viral video that money has no power. And he explained that money on its own doesn't hold much power, but it's valuable when you use it to purchase a good or service. It measures how goods and services are valued in an economy. And this is the economist part of me. As someone who desires to make money or is looking to increase financial value, you don't need more money. You need to have something you do or provide that makes people want to pay you. The product you offer should have the capacity to increase in value. And this way people will pay you well and continue, so you keep making money. For example, Elon Musk's service is solving technical problems as an engineer. It's what drives him to wake up in the morning. It's also what has led to companies like SpaceX and Tesla. So this man has used these services and people are willing to pay for that. Inspiration is paramount to this equation because it will make you push boundaries to grow. It will also make work meaningful and help you recognize niche opportunities to appeal to your clientele. In this case, you're not chasing the money directly, but it's a result of your hustle. The second is know and cater to your day-to-day cash flow so you can see the extra cash and invest it. Your day-to-day operations as a professional business owner could include paying staff, transport, fuel, internet, and even lunch. They're valid. You need to have a constant amount of money to cater to them. Smart matatu drivers, the conductors and boda riders do this. They shop at the first job of the day with just enough fuel money and change. You have change and change for the customers. Anything extra from the previous day's work doesn't carry forward to the next day. And this money habit makes you aware of any extra cash you have so you can redirect this new money to new opportunities. It teaches you to make your extra money increase in value for you. And it also keeps you from spending money without being aware of the extra cash coming in and where it's going. So the tip here, you can downsize your expenses to increase the money available for investment. Keep money for emergencies far from you and money for investments even further. You ever notice how our mothers suddenly have money when emergencies happen? I can ask my mother for a long time, Mommy, I need money for whatever else. And as soon as an emergency comes, I don't know where she gets it from. They don't keep the emergency money in their handbags. They hide it in the back of the wardrobe, inside mattress covers. And what mothers have recognized is the humanity in spending money if it's kept close by. This money habit ensures emergency costs and they don't dip into savings or investment funds. Millionaires and billionaires practice another version of this money habit. What they do is that they keep very little cash in them and have most of the money tied up in investments. Some investments are long term, so they realize the value of the investments. Others can be easily liquidated so they can conveniently pay for new investments. Having less accessible cash ensures you do not easily spend your money. Protect the money you make from your toxic spendthrift habits. Be willing to use other people's money for investment. The self-made millionaire Spike Lee, he's an actor and filmmaker, is one of the many millionaires who practice this habit. And he says that he got no problem asking people for money because he believed in his talent, he believed in his storytelling abilities, and also the people that he surrounds himself with on the project he makes. This money habit refocuses your energy on building great ideas that are worth investing in. Steve Siebold, in his book How Money Works, writes that rich people are always looking for great investments and superior performance to make investments profitable. You will get rejection to your first yes, but after that, it's an upward growth trajectory. Do not let the lack of money hold you back. Build great ideas that are worth investing in and ask those who have money to invest in you. The American DJ and EDM superstar Steve Aoki, I think it is, well represents this money in that he dabbles in investments and have numerous bank accounts. He also lives it based on his Friends with Money interview by Will Simple. Dabbling in investments means you invest in a lot of things. So Steve invests in private companies, cryptocurrencies, startups, bonds, and he also has his own record company and goes on tours to perform his own music. For a professional with an 8 to 5 job, dabbling might look like having a side hustle, your main job, and investing your extra cash. You can always keep adding to these three sources of income when you get new ideas. It has also got to have several bank accounts, each serving a different purpose. And this helps you save, spend, and investment in an organized manner. Right? The journey to being rich is no straight path, but these money habits will definitely assist you as you forge your own path. And finally, honorary money habit mention. Teach your children to be economically independent. And this lesson does not apply to children, but also to anyone likely to be financially dependent on you, now or in the future. The essence of this money habit is to create room for generating more money to invest. It is also a very helpful lesson for communities that struggle with economic dependency. So you can apply it by sharing work opportunities with close family and friends so they too can be financially empowered. You can share your financial journey by talking about money mistakes you've made, debts you've had or had, and investments. It also helps to have accountability partners and joint ventures on savings and investment. Thank you.
All right, thanks for that share, Frank. All right, I'm going to come open now to Shivani for your thoughts and closing remarks. And then I'm going to come to Paul for his thoughts and closing remarks. And then I'll tell the public a little bit about the GIP initiative and how that program can really help you to master the right money habits and to build wealth faster. Shivani, all to you.
Now I'm just thinking about what Frank said, right? That this is not what I said, right? This is what Frank said in
Okay.
terms of the person being unattractive, and once you have money, the person can become very attractive, right? Frank said that, not me, right? So something you have to remember, if that is what we're going with, that the person could become very attractive when they have money. So Gary, then we have to remember people need to be able to keep the money as well, because if you lose the money, it might
You lose the attraction.
right,
too.
you lose the attraction. So this conversation is so very important for people as well, right? If you get it, keep it. Otherwise, you will lose it. That is according to Frank, right?
Hear you.
Project management can really help you to keep the money as well and to grow the money more, right? To grow the
Gotcha.
money more.
And
So,
become attractive.
and to, well, yes,
More attractive.
continuously, right? Continuously, so
You maintain the status quo, right?
Yes, exactly.
Shivani, the billionaire.
Yes. So, as a project manager, it could really help you here to attain the wealth. And of course, project management is about monitoring and controlling as well. So, you have to be able to monitor the wealth as well and control, because you could have it, you could attain it, following all the project management principles, but you could lose it as well, not following a very important aspect, which is monitoring. So as we continue the convos, we keep seeing the importance of project management in attaining wealth.
Shivani, yeah, not cutting you, but I love that you made that point, managing and controlling, because only recently I was reflecting on an American hero. I call her an American hero, and her name is Maria Jones.
Mhm.
I think in one setting she got 3 gold medals, and she got like 5 medals in one of the Olympics. But man, some unfortunate things met her with substance abuse accusation of that, and she was stripped. And when I say stripped, everything, and that comes into play project management. All right, you should have think ahead before you do things and how it's going to impact you. All right, so there is where we saw Great Rising Star lost everything because either herself or team didn't deploy the right tools to manage her success and story. So, valid point. You can continue, Shivani, or you finish.
Yeah, I know you. I thought you were going to speak about project management, ensuring that you continue with the wealth, handsome,
Yeah,
continue.
yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Okay, you finish?
Yes, finish. Yeah.
Okay. All right, over to Paul now. Your thoughts and closing remarks.
Well, if what Frank said is true, I'm sitting here with a bunch of billionaires and zillionaires. Look at you all. Look at you all.
No,
Woo!
Paul is
Woo!
saying that we're ugly.
No,
Paul
you're
is
beautiful. You guys are beautiful. Sometimes I have to look away like this.
saying, you're not seeing us. You already see the dollar sign.
Okay. All right.
All right, thanks. So only your friend can do you that, right?
I guess good habits to access capital are go try to make as much capital as you can. Don't work your regular job. Go sit home and scroll on Facebook. Find a creative way to do it. Flip cars. Buy a motorcycle. Flip it. Make an extra $1,000. Flip anything. Things can be flipped. I'm not saying have a garage sale because that's like selling stuff for $1. I'm talking about buying something that's got some value to it, buying it cheap, and making some money on it. That's a way you can definitely, that's a good, getting into that habit of making that your fun time is probably a good habit to stack the cash. Saving is absolutely a good habit for sure. Looking for opportunities is a great habit. If you see an opportunity, take it. Don't be afraid. Use some of that money that you saved up from flipping cars or flipping dirt bikes and street bikes to, hey man, I got $5,000 extra. You got a restaurant, you're selling it. I want to buy that restaurant. You don't have to wait until you save the down payment because you can get real creative and ask the seller to finance it for you. There's a lot of habits that you can instill to access capital. It's really not just keeping a good credit score like I was kind of going at the beginning. It's all that. Keep a good credit score, you have access to cheap capital. Make habits to not chase the money, but find the money, pick it up, and walk home with it. That's a plan. Chasing it is not a plan. Having a plan to go, if I follow these steps, I'm going to walk over that hill, I'm going to pick up that bag of cash, and I'm going to take it home with me. Go secure it, go get it. Don't chase it, go get it with a plan. So there's probably a lot more good habits, but that's a couple of them.
All right, thanks for that share. And Paul, as promised, I want to talk to the public now about the GIP initiative. And I want to encourage you to join our GIP initiative. Now, what is the GIP initiative? The GIP initiative stands for Global Influencer Partners Program. And this program is targeting business owners. It's targeting rising star in business. It's targeting those who want to become an influencer. And let me tell you some of the key takeaway. In our program, you will learn about how to master the fastest way to cash flow your business. Is there a fast way? Yes, there is. And when we talk of the fast way, we're going to help you to understand multiple streams of income by doing one thing. We will talk to you about the real cost of doing business, because very often when you get into business, you are not assessing the actual cost for doing that business. And that's a bad habit, and that can keep you poor. We will also talk to you about building your personal brand. You want to invest time, talent, and resources into building a personal brand. We will talk to you about building your corporate brand. And there's so much that we're going to be going into. But one of the key takeaway here is that we will help you to learn, apply, and master and set up your systems that's going to help you to cash flow fast. We will put you in contact with international platforms where you can build visibility in communities that has over 2 billion potential consumers. That's what we're going to do for you. So I want to encourage you to get in contact with us to learn more about the GIP initiative, Global Influencer Partners Program. I also want to say this to you too. You can become a BFC. You can become a business finance consultant. And you can learn all that you need to learn about money and how money works. And you can be a tremendous influence in business leaders' life, because you're going to be reaching out to business owners. You're going to be diagnosing their financial challenges, and you're going to be saying to them, we can fund your project. Simple as that. And you're going to be making massive amount of capital through that. So I want to encourage you, wherever you are in the US, we're working with some team out of Washington and other parts of the US. I want to encourage you to reach out to us. 50 states. And we will train you. No cost. No cost. We take on that cost to train you to understand money and how money works. And we're going to position you for greatness. And I want to say this is a giveaway, because every day I'm interfacing with other financial specialists, and I know that they charge you. They charge you to learn credit. They charge you to learn how to sell credit, to make money from credit management. They charge you money. We're paying for that cost for you to learn this. So I want to encourage you to reach out. Remember, like, subscribe, and share, so you will be the first to get this program when we come live on a regular basis. With that being said, I want to thank the audience from across the world who have taken the time to sit in with us today. I want to thank those who will be looking at the rebroadcast. I see hundreds of persons are looking at the program within 24 hours. And I want to thank you. All of the new viewers. I want to thank the over 25,000 new subscribers that we've attracted to our new platform, 2 new platforms over the last month. And thank you for supporting the channel. I'd like to ask you to keep supporting, keep sharing, so you can help us to push that. I want to now come to my team. I want to thank my team today for making that contribution to today's program. So Shabani, Paul, and Frank, do have a great day in front of you, and rest of the week in front of you. And we'll do this again soon. Be blessed, my friend. Okay.